Hey, Wicked Dick here. Just doing a quick Gabe Vilardi injury update. August 31st, 2019. Thought I was done with these. So you might be thinking, hey, didn't you post a video yesterday on Gabe Vilardi? Yes, I did. However, we learned some more news. So in the video yesterday, we talked about Lisa Dillman at The Athletic had hunted down the agent for Gabe Vilardi, Adam Scott. And Scott had more or less said that Vilardi was progressing and they expected a quote-unquote full recovery. And there was much dancing by Kings fans. But then last night, we had the Kings State of the Franchise event, and the automaton known as Rob Blake stepped up and spoke. And while he vomited the usual corporate platitudes, he actually also gave us some more definitive information regarding Vilardi. No, not what the injury is. We're never going to learn that. Medical privacy laws. But he provided other information that kind of paints a picture of what's going on with Vilardi. And so what we learned is Vilardi is still not skating. It's been roughly 8 months since he last skated. So that's not great news. Not the end of the world. At this point, I think we can probably all agree that whatever the back injury is, it's something that's significant. And so whoever's treating him is probably doing their best to make sure that they get it resolved and that it's 100% fixed, if you will. Now, Blake also mentioned that the Kings have been sending Vilardi to a load of different specialists all over North America, trying to figure out the cause and solution to the problem. This is a little more problematic, a little more concerning, because it suggests that they haven't really settled upon a definitive understanding of the trauma, what it is that's causing the problem. Because if they had, they wouldn't be sending him to different doctors. There wouldn't be any need for that. So if it's spondylolysis, for instance, he would just be going through rehab and he would be sticking with whoever his primary physician is. If it was a disc, it'd be the same thing. Vertebrae, same thing. So the suggestion is maybe this is more complicated than a simple explanation. May well be a combination of things. Who really knows? We never will. But the point being that if they aren't absolutely sure about what the very specific cause is, then the course of treatment also is going to be difficult to nail down, because if you don't know what's causing the injury, how do you treat it? So not great news. However, there was this big silver lining potentially, and that is that he's apparently working with a spinal specialist in Ottawa and is quote unquote progressing. So whatever that means, at least sounds positive. Blake went on to say that Vilardi is as good as he has been in the last 12 months. And I want to congratulate the automaton on that corporate speak, because that is a beauty. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? As good as he's been the last 12 months. Until you actually think about the last 12 months. Because Gabe hasn't been good in the last 12 months. The high point would probably be the rehab games. When he played 4 games with the Rain. He looked fine. He looked really happy afterwards when they did interviews with him. You could see it was kind of a relief. He looked pleased. But you have to remember that at the end of that, he didn't play the 5th game because he, quote unquote, felt something in his back. And the next images we had of him were at the Canadian camp, the camp for the Canadian team. They were preparing for one of the tournaments. I've forgotten which one, but and he was not good. You could see him in a video that was, he was in the background of a video from a news interview, and he looked like a 90-year-old man who could barely bend over. I don't know, what as good as he's been in the last 12 months actually means. Does it mean he can get out on the ice, but they're worried it could flare up at any time? Does it mean, he's ready to go? It sounds like they don't really know. But obviously, they at least feel there's some positive progress. Now, does all of this mean that Vilardi, is screwed? Nope, doesn't at all. Maybe the agent's right. Maybe it is a full recovery. Maybe the guy in Ottawa figured out finally what the problem is, and they're working towards the solution. It's all going to be good, and he's going to lead us to 15 cups. But we don't really know. If he hasn't even got on skates yet, the idea that he's going to make a full recovery is maybe a little overstated. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens. So what else do we know about Vilardi? He will be at training camp. That's good news. He will not skate. So not as good news as one would hope. But he'll be there to obviously meet with the coaches and sit in meetings and maybe learn the new system. It'll probably also be good for him mentally just to be around the team and to be around a hockey environment because you have to imagine at this point he's probably pretty beaten down psychologically and emotionally. Remember, this is a kid whose dream is to play in the NHL. He got right up to the cusp of it, and now all of this has happened. So he can't be too happy. And everything we read about professional players is the thing they hate the most, the thing they fear the most is to be injured and have to go through a long rehab. You only have to look at Andrew Luck to understand how brutal that can be. He talked about it just being 4 years of pain and rehab and misery. And obviously, he retired. So you have to imagine Gabe, a 19 and now 20-year-old kid, probably not in a great place. So hopefully the Kings are addressing that as well. But being around the team hopefully gives him a lift. And, we see him on the ice 3 or 4 months down the line. Everything's solved and he's good to go. And he leads us to 15 cups. But we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. So anyways, I thought I'd do the quick update. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Dig out.